All right, enough FA Cup. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Napoli are held 0-0 by Parma and Inter 2-2 by Lazio, which means the gap remains a single point heading into the final round of Serie A games. Jules, let's start with Napoli. They hit the woodwork 2-3 times. They have a penalty overturned by VAR deep in injury time. And Antonio Conte gets sent off. So a low-key night.
Absolutely low-key. What a game, really. And Napoli didn't play well, but they haven't played well, really, for most of the season. It's not they're very efficient. That's what they do. Although Frank Zambo-Anguissa deserved to score just for if we haven't seen the move, and like a bit of a Gascon-esque, Letizier-esque, whatever one you want to put it, and then hitting the post. But Parma are a good team, and a lot of teams have dropped points in Parma this season. So this was never going to be easy. But yeah, Conte got sent off. I mean, both managers, by the way, got sent off in that game. It was
Christian
that kind of
Kivu
tension.
Should not have been sent off.
Conte
Conte was shouting at Kivu's assistant, my friend Antonio Gagliardi, who's previously Roberto Mancini's assistant, and who worked with Conte with the Italian national team. But Conte is just a bundle of nerves.
Yeah, Conte screamed at everything all night long, really. But they were lucky, Gabi, because there was also wild stuff at San Siro when Inter twice took the lead against Lazio and twice got pegged back. And the game finished 2-2.
This is unbelievable. Lazio, of course, really going for it. I mean, Parma went for it too because Parma needed to stay up. Lazio, of course, fighting to get into the Champions League. In the end, Inter twice take the lead. Key moment, the Jan Bissek handball in injury time. Now, this is a classic situation where a young player he just makes a silly mistake.
Yeah.
He's, I forget who it was shooting, but Bissek stands up. He's got his hands behind his back, where he's supposed to do it. As the guy shoots, I think it might have been Castellanos.
Yeah, I think he
jumps. And so in jumping, his arms are behind his back. His elbow goes out a little and then comes back in. And you can't do that. You can't do that in an age of VR. Just stand still. You're 8 feet tall. He can't get the ball over you.
Yeah.
I mean, Bissek,
who scored the opening goal, by the way, for Inter. So it was a great night so far.
Look, none of this would have mattered if Marko Arnautovic had missed an absolute sitter at the end in this wild ending where Francesco Cervi by now is just inter-center forward, like the last 10 minutes, like he did against Barcelona. Of course, both Inzaghi and Baroni sent off. Shout out to Pedro as well.
Two goals.
Think about Lazio, two goals, 37 years old, comes in off the bench. I love, by the way, the Daily Mail headline, like, former Chelsea star. I'm like, yeah, I think he's maybe a little bit more associated with Barcelona. But whatever. Inter furious about some of the officiating. There was a Rovella foul as well, which probably should have seen him sent off.
Yeah.
They've gone into a media blackout saying, we don't want to say anything that gets anybody suspended ahead of the final game. So stay tuned. This is going to be a nail-biter. Now, Jules, as we record this, we just found out when they're going to play the final round of games. Talk us through why they can't just play on Sunday.
So Sunday is the last game week of the season, game week 38, of course, in Italy. The title is up for grabs, 1 point, as we've been saying, between Napoli and Inter. But as we've explained since 2023, this new rule came back from before, where if two teams are level on points at the end of the season for the title, and the head-to-head is irrelevant and the goal difference is irrelevant, then you play a playoff final, spareggio.
You play a one-game playoff final to decide who wins it. That's right. No goal difference. No head-to-head. I don't care about these things. These things are stupid. Let's settle it on the pitch. Mano a mano. Listen, I'm so critical of Italian football. This is the one thing that we get right. Everybody should do this.
The only problem this season, Gabi, is that Inter have qualified for the Champions League final. So if on Sunday,
to ruin it for everyone.
I know, but if on Sunday the two teams were still level up on points, then they would have to play this pareggio on the Wednesday before the Champions League final on Saturday, because they could not play, of course, after the Champions League final. There would be too long of a gap. So we now know for sure that the Napoli-Cagliari game and the Como-Inter game that was supposed to play on Sunday at the same time with everybody else is now moved forward to Friday night.
And they're lucky that they were able to do this because Cagliari, the result at the weekend means they are safe.
Yeah.
So neither Cagliari nor Como, neither of them have implications for relegation or anything else.
And then potentially, if they still level on points after that game, if they are level point of the game, they will play on Monday or Tuesday.
We think Monday or Tuesday playoff final.
This playoff final, that would be incredible. But we don't think it will go No. That's right. Santi Jimenez gets sent off after 21 minutes and Milan fall to Roma 3-1. Gab, Sergio Conceição blames the referee and gets sent off. Claudio Ranieri gets an ovation from the crowd and a wonderful tifo. Great leader and true Romanista. It was beautiful.
All right, I want to do the positives first. Claudio Ranieri, tremendous. Picks up the team near the relegation zone.
Yeah.
Gets them. Now they're 1 point away from the Champions League.
Which
they don't
they
control
will do,
their
surely.
future.
Yeah.
Well, no, because Juventus are ahead of them. But
true.
still, he's been tremendous. He gave a really poignant message. He says, all I asked of the players and of the fans is I want you guys to help me and follow me. And you guys did. And for that, I'm grateful, which is phenomenal. I mean, the guy... when he addressed the crowd, he's like, 65 years ago, I was up there in the stands.
I know, love it.
I love it. The guy that he was a fan first, then he was a Roma player, and he got to coach a team. Phenomenal story. Now, on to Milan. No European football this year. I agree with one thing Conceição said. It says, this was a microcosm of our season, which is stupid mistakes. Bad coaching, and you lose. Stupid mistakes. Let's start with Santi Jimenez, who goes and elbows Mancini off the ball 21 minutes into the game. Dude, there's cameras everywhere. Like, how stupid can you be?
Yeah.
Right? Did God tell you to do this too? And now, Mancini rolls around, makes a meal of it, whatever.
Of course.
But you're a professional. Don't put yourself in that situation in a key game. As for Conceição, he gets himself sent off. So presumably he doesn't have to show up at the San Siro and deal with the Bulls in the final game. Totally lost his cool, but in a very dorky way, because at one point he's shouting at the referee. He says, I'll break you in two. Okay, you're a tough guy. And then he kept saying, he said, a normal person would say, you are that four-letter words which starts with S, or the Italian equivalent. No, instead he kept saying, like, you are caca, you are poo, you are poo. Like he's a freaking child. Like, enough of this embarrassment. Be gone and take João Felix with you.
Second half goals from Nico Gonzalez and Dusan Vlahovic give Juventus a 2-0 win over Udinese, Gabi.
Yeah, and now that Champions League spot is very close. They have a 1 point lead in Forest. Obviously, they need to win to be sure in the last day of the season. It makes such a difference. It's amazing. Dusan Vlahovic plays and he scores and he makes a difference to you. No idea what's going to happen, but Igor Tudor, he did what he was supposed to do.
Atalanta win 3-2 away at Genoa to seal the Champions League place. Gab, it gets overlooked, but it's another minor miracle.
Yeah, let's not be silly about this. Look, they finished third in Serie A again. They went on a European run, although it ended stupidly. This is phenomenal. It's phenomenal what this club do year after year, punching above their weight. I'm of the mind that because of the massive resource imbalance, we should elect like a moral winner of every league. Maybe I'll write a column in that and say, like, who is the guy who maximizes resources the most in this league? Have a category for that. Atalanta would certainly win it, definitely. I think, in Serie A. Oh, and by the way, I didn't put this in the quick hits, but I just want to give him a shout out. Fiorentina beat Bologna 3-2.
Yeah.
Among the goal scorers, scoring his first ever Serie A goal was Amir Richardson. And I was thinking, out of all the professional footballers in the world, if we exclude the ones whose dads were footballers, but if we include the ones whose dads were other types of athletes, was his dad the greatest athlete? His dad, of course, Michael Ray Richardson.
Yeah, Sugar. I think so. Surely it has to be. I mean, I need a bit of time to think. Neil Ayanawi at Lens, his dad was a top 15 tennis player, top 15 in the world tennis player. So that's pretty good. El Ayanawi from Lens. So that is pretty good, but still, I think Richardson is probably the best. I mean, Mathieu Pavon, who did really well in golf at the USPGA this week. His dad was obviously a former Bordeaux and France midfielder international. So pretty good, but still
he's not a footballer, so he's on a different list.
But the son plays golf, not football. That's why.
No, I know, but cool too. Among footballers.
No, I know.
That's
probably
like that
you're
question
right,
in
Richardson.
reverse, but
And there's so probably others, to be fair, that we're not thinking of right now.
I'm sure there are. Hit us up on social media. Let us know. I mean, Richard, the funny thing about him is he looks like a basketball player.
He's as tall as a basketball player. Probably, yeah. Gab, Genoa fans held a mock funeral to celebrate rival Sampdoria's relegation to the third division for the first time in their history. But could they already be rising from the dead?
Okay, so first of all, this whole mock funeral thing, I find it...
It's a bit creepy.
I think it's creepy. It's tasteless. These weirdos also, they did it when Sampdoria were officially relegated last week, and they did it again before the Atalanta game. Like, are we creative? You guys, this is stupid. But the funny thing is, the joke's on them, because thanks to the incredible, never-ending resources of former Leeds United owner Massimo Cellino, who former Cagliari owner as well, now owns Brescia because he likes. Yeah, he likes
that's what he
football,
does.
right?
Yeah, he likes football clubs.
So news broke yesterday that he's coaching Brescia in Serie B. That essentially there's some financial irregularities. He tried to pay for some players. How do you call them? Kind of like contributions to some players' taxes that he's on the hook for. They're kind of like the Social Security, national insurance type payments. He tried to pay for them with tax credits, which apparently is not allowed. And they told him it's not allowed, and he did it anyway. And he's got another round of payments, which also paid the same way. Long and short of it is they're talking 4 points penalty, which revolutionizes the table because Brescia now move into the bottom three, which pushes Sampdoria not to safety, but it puts them into the relegation playoff.
Yeah.
So Sampdoria, you could have been in Serie A. They could have been in the third fight for the first time in their history just for a couple days. They're going to battle it through.
With Lombardo at the helm.
The bald eagle flies again.
God, what could go wrong?
By the way, great weekend for the Eagles, right? Between the bald eagle and his former club, Crystal Palace.